Hello YouTube, my name's Sean Connors and welcome back to the Outsiders channel. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to be looking at Pathfinder core book wizard spells, and I'm going to be picking one spell out of every level. That of course includes 0 level spells, and we start here with Detect Magic on page 267 of the Pathfinder core book. There isn't a lot not to like about this spell. It has everything going for it, and I don't think many wizards or sorcerers, or even for that matter others that have access to it, will leave home without it. It's a multi-versatile spell that scales with characters' levels and has massive amount of uses later on. One of my favourite tactical uses of this spell is at high level. It is very difficult to track down hiding rogues. However, if you study an area for 3 rounds and that rogue's within that area hiding, of course, you can pinpoint the location of each of the auras should he be carrying magic items. Something to think about how useful Detect Magic can be later on, let alone all the obvious things that people do with it. Anyway, that's my first choice for 0 level, Detect Magic. So now let's move on to a first level spell that I really love, Silent Image, found on page 343 of the Pathfinder core book. Oh, this spell, my god, you can give a lot of hassle to a lot of people. What's, again, not to like about this? Range long, 400 foot plus 40 foot per level. Visual figment that cannot extend beyond 4 10-foot cubes and 1 10-foot cube per level. Concentration, so you have to concentrate on the silent image. The enemy have will saves to disbelieve. However, it does clearly say the spell creates a visual illusion of an object, creature or force as visualized by you. The illusion does not create sound or smell, texture or temperature. You cannot move the image within the limits of the size of the effect. However, imagine creating a stone wall, and they can only disbelieve when they interact with it. How useful is that from first level? You can actually create stone walls in front of enemy and split the battlefield up. My word, have I had fun with this using a sorcerer who has limited spells and wizards in general. A fantastic spell with so many uses at first level, an absolute no-brainer in my book. So I present to you Silent Image, and now we'll move on to second level spells. There are many good second level spells in the Pathfinder book for wizards, but the one I've chosen is Blindness and Deafness, and for the purposes of this video I'm only talking about the blindness part. This really is one of the very few spells where it's not so much save or die, but it's certainly save or suck. If a character doesn't make a saving throw here, or an enemy, they're effectively out of the fight. They'd have to be very unusual to be able to really be of any use at this point. So this spell is an absolute beauty. It can end a fight very quickly, and of course, it is one I would select and choose. So I present it to you here at this point. Third level spell choice for wizards is the spell Slow. This spell can affect up to 1 creature per level, no 2 of which can be more than 30 feet apart. Okay, there is a will save and spell resistance does apply, but the effect is if a character is suddenly stopped to 1 action a round, that has a huge impact. It can either take a single move action or a standard action. This will effectively put them out of the fight, and at higher levels, this ability to slow creatures down becomes very useful. Imagine it effectively against a multi-attacking creature like a Hydra. If the Hydra failed its save, effectively it just gets 1 head around. It goes from being deadly to not very difficult at all. That's how powerful Slow can be in the right hands, and so I present it to you here, my third level slot choice for wizards. My fourth level spell choice is Black Tentacles on page 248 of the Pathfinder core book. I absolutely love this spell. No saving throw, no spell resistance, area effect 20 foot radius spread, has a medium range that's 100 foot plus 10 foot per level. Absolutely superb. When this comes into round, it begins to grapple creatures immediately, automatically attacks them, attempting to grapple them. It doesn't provoke any attacks of opportunity. It can't actually physically be hurt either. They can be dispelled, and also the area is considered difficult terrain while the tentacles last. So if you think about difficult terrain and go and read up about that, it just shows you how difficult it is once you're in it to get out of it. Plus, of course, you're trying to break out of the grapple. This is what I call a fantastic spell if you want to use it against enemy spellcasters. It's absolutely lethal unless they're set up the right way. Anyway, I present to you Black Tentacles, a personal favourite. At fifth level I chose Teleport on page 358 of the Pathfinder core book. This is a spell that has literally changed the course of campaigns. It's a fantastic spell for getting in or out of trouble. Into trouble in terms of dividing the enemy up, going exactly where you want at just the right moment, and bypassing a lot of the danger. Again, what's not to like about this? An all-time classic, remained a personal favourite for many, many years for myself and my players, and I'm sure it's yours. I present to you the fifth level choice, Teleport. 6th level brings up an absolute beautiful spell, Contingency, on page 259 of the Pathfinder core book. This spell for wizards is phenomenal. Duration is very long time as well, 1 day per level or until discharged. It does have a material component of 1,500 gold pieces, but at the point that you get this spell, that's not a huge consideration normally. And what you can do is have a spell placed on your person with the ability that when a certain contingency is reached, that spell will kick off. So it could be a raised edge, for example. It could be a teleport. It could be a number of things that you could use. Again, the sky is the limit for the usefulness of this spell, and you only really have to think about the situation you're getting into to consider what contingency is going to be best for you. How could it not be on the list? At 7th level, I choose Reverse Gravity on page 335 of the Pathfinder core book. This effectively is one of the great battlefield controlling spells. There is very little chance of anybody having a saving throw against it. There is no spell resistance, and the only part that might offer a saving throw is if they have something to hold on to. Otherwise, it's goodbye and straight up into the air. This spell's fantastic because it has a huge area of effect. 1 10-foot cube per level. Thinking about the level that people will get this spell at shows you how powerful this spell is. One of the ultimate battlefield controllers, and a brilliant spell at this level. 8th level, I choose Maze spell on page 312 in the Pathfinder core book. There's not a lot to not like here. Saving throw, there is no saving throw, but spell resistance will play in. It only affects one creature, and the range is relatively close. But basically, they're sent off to an extra-dimensional labyrinth. Each round in the labyrinth, they may attempt a DC 20 intelligence check to escape the labyrinth as a full-round action. If the subject doesn't escape, the maze disappears after 10 minutes. What a wonderful way of removing a difficult opponent from the battlefield. And you also know exactly what square they're going to come back to. I wonder what you could do ready for their return in that square. I wonder. What could you say about this spell other than must have? My 9th level choice is Time Stop on page 359 of the Pathfinder core book. Anything that gives wizards multiple rounds, extra rounds to operate in, while everybody else is almost frozen in time, is got to be regarded as one of the greatest spells that you'll ever possess. And of course, Time Stop is just that thing. It turns the character into something resembling a semi-divine being. And of course, there's nothing to say that you can't recast another Time Stop. So in essence, you can keep going, keep laying up your spell traps, ready for when the enemy are about to go. And once they do come out of their Time Stop, there aren't many things that are going to stand around for very long, given what you are capable of doing at that level to them. An absolute perfect finishing spell, and one of the greatest spells in my mind that exists in the Pathfinder game. All that leaves me to say is thank you for tuning in to The Outsiders. I've been Sean Connors, and this particular video has been all about spell choices from 0 to 9th level, taking only one at each level. I present you my view of the best. Anyway, take care of yourselves and happy gaming, and I'll see you all soon.